Good evening, respected Dr. Shekhar Mandeji, Shri Vivekanand Pillai Paiji, Professor Chandrabhas Narayan, Professor Anand Ramakrishnan, honorable members of RGCB and Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences and the Gyan Bharati, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and privilege for me to be here discussing the important issue of science and technology for a self-reliant India. At one time, I was a very busy neurosurgeon, attending to patients, operating, teaching, extensively traveling all over the world. And this I did for almost 30 years. I was practically applying surgery that I had slowly learned over the years in a very busy center. Life was satisfying, gratifying, and comfortable. I was doing and applying what I had been trained to do. And then, as is stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, text 23, Uttra Dashcha Numanta Cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaram Paramatmati Chapyukyo Ukte Hriday Samantipur Parad, which means, yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, a super soul, who exists as an overseer and a permitter. Thus, there is a divine beckoning that we had to follow. And so, I entered the fascinating world of medical device development as a member of the fraternity of Sri Chitra. And through being the director, I got access to Department of Science and Technology and all the outreach programs. And now we are actually in the middle of making several innovative centers all over the country for medical device development. And when I entered this fascinating world, I said fascinating. Why did I use this word fascinating? It is very fascinating to me that individuals are willing to spend a lifetime pursuing a dream with no final destination in mind, with so many uncertainties along the way, with every possibility of finally retiring without any reward in hand and without anyone else to continue the legacy after they have retired. It's a very fascinating thing, encounter for people like me. Being a part of the fraternity of Sri Chitra and the ecosystem of biomedical device development, there are 12 questions that I desperately wanted the answers to, but was too scared to ask. Luckily, being the director gives one, because of the chair one sits on, the ability to mask to a little extent one's own stupidity and ignorance in the presence of extremely intelligent and committed people whom one encounters on a daily basis. So let me share the answers that I have quietly learned along the way. I didn't ask anyone, I learned along the way to these 12 stupid questions that I have always been yearning to ask. The first question is, what is the difference between biomedical science, biomedical technology, and biotechnology? I didn't know the answer to that one. So, as a biomedical scientist, you focus more on the actual research and treatment of disease. As a biomedical technologist, you deal with researching and developing equipment and methodologies used to treat disease. As a biotechnologist, it's a broader term. You are involved with the production of products from raw materials with the aid of living organisms and plants. The core principle of biotechnology involves harnessing biological systems in organisms to perform specific tasks and produce valuable substances. So the first few months I was only talking about biotechnology, and somebody told me there's a Rajiv Gandhi Center for Biotechnology just a kilometer away. I said, oh my God, then what are we doing here? Then somebody corrected, it's biomedical technology. So that's the difference, and biomedical science. So that's the first point. The second question, which is often we ask ourselves, I'm full of ideas. I mean, every day I get fantastic ideas. Why don't they lead to actual innovations and discoveries? There is a very interesting word which I'd like to share with you, and that word is epiphany. Epiphany is the enlightening realization that permits a situation to be understood from a deeper perspective. Whenever universe conspires to generate a dream in a person, it is opening a window through the medium of that individual to bring that dream to its fruition. The enlightened embrace their dream, or perhaps universe in its anxiousness to introduce the benefits of the dream for humanity at that opportune moment in time, inculcates in these individuals an epiphany and a persistence that helps them to pursue their dream with steadfast determination until the dream attains a physical form and transforms the dream into a discovery. Without this epiphany, there is no dream and there is no biomedical technology product or any other scientific discovery. Every innovation has three phases: an idea or a dream that rides on the vehicle of self-belief, an epiphany that helps in embracing it, pursuing it, and persisting with it, no matter what the personal cost is, and discovery that makes it acceptable and of immense use to humanity. As Picasso, the famous painter, once said, everything that one can imagine is actually real. The second issue related to this, why do I fail? I'm full of ideas. Why do I still fail? Comes from the TED Talk, the Technology, Entertainment and Design talk by Harvard psychologist Sean Anker. He said, I quote, "What we found is that only 25% of job successes are predicted by intelligence quotient. 75% of job successes are predicted by your optimism levels, your social support and teamwork, as well as your ability to see stress as a challenge instead of as a threat." So this is a very important point. This is the second point. The third is another very simple question. What is the difference between discovery, invention, and innovation? That was something I didn't know. A discovery is recognizing something that already exists. So you discover it for the first time and nobody else has discovered it before. It already exists. What is an invention? It is creating something totally new with one's own ideas and development. And what is innovation? Innovation involves practical implementation of an invention to make a meaningful impact on a daily life, market, or society. So it's more practical. Then the fourth question was, what are the steps in biomedical device development, and what do you mean by these translation levels of medical device development? Everybody keeps talking about it. What is this? So the first phase is the conceptualization phase. When a biomedical device moves from an idea to a prototype, that is conceptualization phase. The idea or process can then be patented. So this is TRL level 1 is developing a research idea. TRL level 2 is applied research idea. And TRL level 3 is the project plan. The next step is proof of concept phase. The prototype is developed, the patent is performed, the registration of that patent is done, and you apply for a test manufacturing license at the institutional level. This is TR level 4, which is the level of prototype development. That is when you develop the prototype, and that's when you try to sell it to the industry, and you often fail. The next is a pilot production phase. So after translation, in conjunction with industry, you have to upscale your prototypes, make many numbers of these prototypes. We have to make many design improvements, and this is known as translation level 5, which is prototypes upscaling and its standardization. The next one is a preclinical evaluation phase. So after translation, in conjunction with the industry, after clinical trial permission and ethical clearances, the physico-chemical and biological testing and small and large animal testing is done if required. The data has to be collected meticulously, and this is TRL level 6, which is preclinical evaluation, and TRL level 7, where you do a technology transfer. And this has to be done in conjunction with the industry. Then comes the clinical evaluation phase, where uni and multi-centric clinical trials have to be done on patients after proper ethical permission, clinical trial permissions from ICMR, they all need to be taken, and insurance cover has to be taken for the patients on whom you are conducting these trials. Testing has to be done by the institute in conjunction with the industry that will be responsible for the bulk production. And this is TRL level 8, which is clinical evaluation. And then comes the commercialization phase, which is after manufacturing and marketing approval from CDSCO, which is the agency responsible, commercialization of the biomedical product takes place, and this is TRL level 9, which is commercialization. It doesn't stop there. There is a post-marketing surveillance, according to which, in conjunction with the industry, you have to continuously see that the product is safe, and you have to indulge in design improvement. Because if you have a product which is actually harmful later on, it becomes a big problem. So you have to continuously look after the entire thing. The next question which I faced was, what do you mean by this low-tech, high-tech, deep-tech devices? Everybody's saying, deep tech, we want to make deep-tech devices. What is this deep tech? So what is a low-tech device? A low-tech device is a simple and easily replicable technology for practical everyday use. A high-tech technology is technology with a slightly advanced features which are focused on specific issues which the clinical situation demands. And the deep tech means you have given a deep thought to the product. It takes several years for the product to develop. And because you have given the product a deep thought, it is very difficult to replicate the product. So therefore, everybody says, please focus on deep tech products so that it becomes difficult to replicate those products. Then next question was, many people were talking about valleys of death. What is valleys of death? What is valleys of death? These are few phases in the life cycle of a product when the product fails. The first is at translation level 4, which means you have made a prototype, but you don't have the money to upscale it or to take it further. And the companies say, this is a very raw product, we don't want it. That is the first stage of valley of death. 60% of the products fail there. Then comes the preclinical phase where a lot of money is required. And there, unless the person, the industry which is actually upscaling the product comes with you, you cannot just test it yourself, because the person who's commercializing it has to actually come in. And so they come in, but then the doctor says, hey, I don't want to use your product. I have no confidence in using your product. I have already very good products coming imported market, and that is why our imports for medical devices, 40% increase has taken place over the last 3 years. 40% is the amount of imports we have done in medical devices over the last 3 years. So that's been the increase. So therefore, the doctor says, I will not test this device on my patient. There is legal issues involved, there are multiple issues involved, I will not. So there are two valleys of death. One is when the industry says I'm not coming in, and the second is when the doctor says I'm not coming in. So these are the valleys of death. Then another point is, what are the classes of devices and the average time taken for commercialization? So there is a misconception, you make a device and within 1 year I'll be able to do it. Actually, there are 4 classes of devices. Class A device, the device involves low risk levels, like for example, a stethoscope or a wheelchair. So when you make that device, if you take it fast track, maybe 1 year, and if you do it through the normal process, about 4 years. If you make a class B, which is low to medium risk, you're putting it in a patient, but it's not going inside the body. For example, urinary catheters, dressings for wounds. So this will require about 4 to 6 years. Because not only do you have to make the devices, you also have to test them. And this is one big conception. Most of the doctors don't know this. I didn't know it. I was feeling very proud of the devices I had made, and I immediately would start using it on my patients. Maybe one retractor, I'll use it. No, you have to get it tested properly, get approvals before you actually implant them on the patient. And class C and D devices are those which are actually implanted for a short time or a long time basis into the patient. And this actually requires more than 7 years, because there are a long phase of growth which is continuously taking place. Then comes patents. and intellectual property rights. You must understand one small thing about patents. Patents are not products. You patent ideas. And therefore, before you before you register a product for patent, you please do not publish it, you do not talk about it. Because the most important thing is that you are patenting an idea or a process and not actually a product. This is a very important point which has to be done. And another thing is that the patent should be filed as soon as the prototype is developed, so that the idea remains with you. It is your exclusive property, and the patent is for a short period of time, and it is country specific. So it's not like if you take a US patent, it doesn't mean that it is internationally valid. It's only valid for US. So this is why it's very important to decide which country will commercialize your product in before you take this patent. Then comes technology transfer. So once a company agrees with you, everything they agree with you, still you can't just do a transfer. It's like tendering. You have to get all the companies, you have to exhibit your product. You must ask all the companies to apply, and then whoever gives you the maximum price, that is what you have to take. So that you are giving every company an equal opportunity to participate in this particular process. What are the 10th question was, what are the major forms of institutional industry cooperation which are possible? So we need money, lots of money at different phases of biomedical technology development. So what are the stages of industry institutional cooperation which are possible? There are 3 important areas which are possible. The first is the industry purchases the prototype, and then their own design company actually makes it. Like we have 2 products. We have the heart valve. Now we are on to the 2nd generation heart valve. TTK company has taken it. They have improved the design, taken it and paid for it. The second important thing is blood bags. Almost 5 million blood bags are sold every month across Asia. And this has been taken by Turumo Penpal. They have Dr. Nair has 53 patents on the improvement in blood bags after Chitra.
Impact on that in our municipality handling the packaging, everything comes on 133 billion amount Indian rupee we are spending for that. Mumbai water, it has the 300 microplastics are found in Mumbai water. Put to water, drinking water is 150 microplastics. If you are regularly drinks from this type of bottles, every week we are taking 5 gram of microplastic. 1 credit card size of the plastic we are taking every week. Clear document is showing that. Where we are leading. Earlier we thought microplastics comes out from our body. Right now, recent papers from the nature is very clearly demonstrated it crossing the blood-brain barrier. How we are going to avoid? You see, the paper is the alternative. No, we are cutting the tree to create a paper. 15% of the carbon dioxide we are reducing that. The energy is 4 times higher the energy needed to create a paper. Then what is the alternative? Glass. 23% of higher emission of the carbon dioxide happen in the glass. The recycling is not that much possible. Only 33% right now is the recycling in the glass. So metal is the alternative. 4 times higher energy input has been given for creating the aluminium compared to plastic bottle. The carbon dioxide 400 times increased in the production of the aluminium cans. We have the myth. We wanted to avoid the bed bottle. We wanted to go for the paper or aluminium. No, everywhere is the problem. What is the alternative in front of us? Biopolymer is the alternative, but strength and barrier property, printability is the big challenge. And the recyclability, some of the PLA, PLG we have done. But still now we are not made the larger extent. That's what CSR has floated the mission on the packaging. So CSR has created that mission. Now we are continuing, and we wanted to bring alternative to Tetra Pak. So the only company, sir, is manufacturing throughout the globe. No alternative for Tetra Pak. Why? We are spending so much money to buy the Tetra Pak. If you see that today water we are drinking with the Tetra Pak. The more than the water cost, the Tetra Pak cost is very high. And the lid has the plastic. They claiming is the Tetra Pak, but lid has the plastic. So we need to think what are the alternative for all these things. That's what our future way of looking into that. The market is huge. How can capitalize that type of sustainable packaging market for India? 70% of the population world wanted to buy sustainable packaging. Films are packaging material. Where is our industry to ready for that? Proj is ready, but still is not that far. The energy sector, if you look at still bioethanol, 20% we wanted to mix it in the 2025. It's an ambitious project. But you wanted to produce the bioethanol, you need an enzyme. That enzyme is produced by no enzyme, only one enzyme. Right now, 2-3 companies, including NIST and NCL, develop some enzyme. But nobody wanted to buy our enzyme because that commercial enzyme, what created by the enzyme, only monopoly throughout the globe. We wanted to mix it 20% of the ethanol in the existing our fuel, but the production from that original enzyme molecule is from outside. This is the what we need to look high value, high impact research. We need to expand this one. Come to the food. Food is entirely different to one. See, earlier, 100 years back, we have taken food for the energy. 50 years back, we started taking for the nutrition. Now, people going for the enjoyment. Food is part of enjoyment. Any mall, if you see that, along with the movie theater, you have the restaurant, a whole one floor. You and me, everywhere, every week, we wanted to go out and take the food. This become a habit of everybody. Earlier, we thought of the sugary drink, carbonated juices not going to be in market. But today, even diabetes, they are taking. I want to enjoy. It's like a cigarette and alcohol. Now food is become like that. Where we are leading? Yes, we produce too much. We are world number one in grains, fruits and vegetable, everything. But is enough for the future? No, sir. When another 20 years, our population is going to 160 to 170 crore population. Right now, what we produce 400 million tons is not enough. We need around close to 550 to 600 million tons of the food grains and fruits and vegetable. Our land limitation production rate last 25 years same. How are we going to do it? Again, we can't add more fertilizer to produce it. Now our coconut water has the fertilizer. We are unable to export our coconut water to any other country. We are number 3rd in the global in coconut production. We are not able to do that because of fertilizers leaching to the coconut water. How we are going to avoid? This is the question mark we need to answer for what we are planning for next 23 years to reach self-reliant India. But a lot of good questions are there, but the answer is not there. Even health, we are diabetic capital, cardiovascular, anemic. Our children are anemic. Indian average anemic is 53%. Kerala is good 36%, but all other states are really struggling. We have so many programs, but only giving the supplementation of iron won't help. Iron absorption in our body is only 10%. How to enhance its absorption in our industrial system? That question mark we need to address it. That will give better result because healthier nation only can make stronger nation. We wanted to make it a developed nation. Another 20-30 years. Right now, we are the youngest nation. A lot of populations are young population. After 20-30 years, we are the oldest nation. What China is facing, same we are going to face 30 years. Along with that, disease like this, our spending on the GDP is going larger portion into the healthcare. How we are going to handle it? This is what our plan should be. But our dream is really good. If you look at what startup about Sanjay sir mentioned about that, till 2017 we have only 42 unicorns in our nation. Right now 110 unicorns are there. That to type 2, type 3 cities this unicorn has come. Every institution have the startups. Even CSA and NIST. We have only space for only 12. We got application for 70 startups wanted to incubate in CSR list. People wanted to do it. Even Trivandrum, like a city, they wanted to incubate a company they wanted to do. The change of the thought, people mindset has changed. Even Kerala, they wanted to start bigger industries. How is this changes have happened? My father generation wanted to go and settle in the US and foreign. My generation wanted to lead the US companies. My son and younger generation wanted to create such type of company in India. In that scenario, definitely if you put it our science and technology, no way we can beat any other country. We can be self-reliant in the 2047. Thank you so much for inviting me to share with us.
Respected President of Vigyan Bharati and former DG CSAR, Shekhar Mandiji, Director of this institution, Professor Chandrabas Narayana ji, Director of Sri Chitra Tirunal, Dr. Sanjay Bihari ji, and NIST Director Dr. Anandaramukrishnan ji, and so many well-wishers and friends of Swadeshi science movement who have come from different places today on a Saturday evening. Sanjay ji was asking me whether it could have been on a working day. Actually, we had planned it for yesterday, but then Shekhar ji's program was there at Isari in the evening. So we moved it to this day. And still we have people who have come. It was a wonderful evening, lot of insights. The question is how we will actually work on this, and this is a continuing effort by Vigyan Bharati on many of these things. Some give results immediately, but many give results in a longer short. Now we are in the 31st year of Vigyan Bharati. It started in IASC Bangalore when Shekharji and all were students, Anil Sahasrabuddhe and Dr. Professor K. Vasu. He came out with this idea of science with a Swadeshi spirit, Swadeshi science movement of India. Shekharji mentioned about how the Britishers not only looted us, they captured our minds. Unfortunately, the fact is, even after independence, that process has not reduced. We have still continued with it. The education system that we created and we nourished, it was not capable of giving that confidence, the Atma Samman, that confidence that we can do it. So we are one of the, as mentioned, one of the largest, youngest population today, and earlier also, though we were number 2. Just look at the student population of India. We have created a lot of very premier institutions, IITs, IIMs, IISc, lot of R&D institutions also. But compared to the total population, how many of them can be actually accommodated in these students, the percentage? If we take the state universities, they accommodate probably more than 95% of the students. And what is the status of the state universities today? What is the level of education that is happening? Achyut Shankar Nair, sometime before, he's in one of his talks, I think it was delivered here itself. He said, in its 80 years of existence, Kerala University produced 3 patents as of that date. Now maybe I don't know. But not much has changed. How many state universities do that? Even universities like Allahabad University and all, what is their status today? What is the kind of many of these universities had very prestigious departments. Even some of the colleges. I understand that Maharaja's College Physics department had so many great physicists coming there and giving talks and all that. But the level of that college today, that is one aspect. And what about our education at the schooling level? I think many of you already know about the PISA test where we did very badly and we didn't appear for 10, 12 years. Then we started once again and we were one of the lowest. Is it because our kids are not bright? They are proving wrong. They have gone across the world and they have proven themselves. So there is something wrong with the process. And now we know with NEP and all, experiential learning, lack of experiential learning in our science education. Then we just had a meeting at Nagpur last week. Many educationists had come. So one of them, Panini Telam, he talked about around 22 skills, like skill of questioning, skill of observation, like that 22 skills in education which is needed for a student. How much we are giving them today? How our syllabus is being created in such a way that suppose we are talking to them about energy in biology, chemistry, physics, we teach them in a similar time frame so that the energy that we are talking about in chemistry and also in biology and also in physics, the kid is able to somehow correlate. But it is not happening. That kind of an integration is not happening. So how this can be like corrected? So these are some of the very important questions. Unless we train them from the very starting levels at a young age, then groom them, then they come to the colleges, and we have a better innovation system and original thought and all that. Then only we can create the kind of, or at least make use of all these talent. Now we just had this mess with the NEET. So I had one of my friends who was talking to me. What he told was very important, very eye-opening. He said the problem with the NEET is not just an issue of how we conduct an exam. The problem with the NEET is that there are no avenues for our younger generation. So everyone is just flocking to whatever is possible. There is no avenue for great education. The level of that is why we had companies like Byju's giving all this thing. EduTech is today one of the highest money making areas in our country, and even the common man, he spends his life's earnings to teach his kid. But are we able to provide them in the quality education? The scenario today in Kerala is very concerning, because in every city, I don't know about the rural areas, most of the kids, they just want to go away once their pre-degree or whatever is concerned, and they want to go away, then settle in outside abroad. So why is that happening? So these are issues, along with whatever Shekharji, Sanjay Bihari ji, Chandrabaji and Anandaram Krishnan ji mentioned about. I think education is one of the very important areas where we all have to contribute in whatever little way we can, so that we can transform this situation in the coming decades. Vigyan Bharati has been taking up some efforts in this direction. We started off in Kerala, Shastra Pratibha Malsaram, where we wanted to introduce to the students. The whole idea was that inculcate a spirit of science in the students. And we also introduced to them Indian heritage in science and technology to give them the confidence. And recently we had an MOU with ISRO, and we came out with their ISRO's Space on Wheels mobile exhibitions. And within a small span of a few months, we could take them to almost 6 lakh students. We trained teachers to speak in Maharashtra, they were speaking in Marathi, explaining whatever is there. In Tripura, in Bangla, in Arunachal, in their language, in Kerala, in Malayalam. And all these states we could cover and reach out to around 6 lakh students. And as a next step, we are just thinking, the discussions are on to create some kind of Vigyan Bharati science clubs, where we will try to give them exposure to experiential learning skills and all that. So these are some of the efforts from our side. Now the government of India has come, Ministry of Education has done an elaborate exercise on new educational policy. The question is, who is going to implement the new education policy? How are we going to train those teachers who will be rolling out? Because they have been through the same process of, mugging up, if I can use that word. A huge amount of them. There are very talented teachers. We have a lot of programs like Science and Toys, Games and Toys during IASF, and very brilliant teachers even from rural areas come with very, very small innovations. One teacher came out. He took 2 syringes. It will cost around 15 rupees. One is a big one and one is a very small one. Connected it with a very thin PVC tube. Gave us the bigger syringe. He held the smaller one. There is some liquid and asked us to push it, and immediately he pushes the smaller one. And he teaches them, this is the pressure. We are talking about pressure, how it works. The whole equipment will cost not more than 30 rupees. So there are teachers like that. But how we can expand it, scale it up so that there is a transformative impact on the whole education system. And now these challenges are there. Somebody from the VNIT asked me how we can the whole new education policy, only half a page is talking about NEP in engineering education. So how we can build on it, and what are we supposed to do? How can we do it? So this challenge is there. So every institution like R&D institutions or NIST, SCT, we look forward to all of you for directions and support and guidance in this. We are also having our own effort. Now ISER is also here. So let us all come together and address this issue so that we have the wherewithal, the innovation, the capability for achieving this dream of a self-reliant Bharat through science and technology. Namaste.
It's such a heavy meeting. It was so rich that it will take some time for us to digest all the points what was conveyed today. We all know Shekharji, President of Vijnana Bharati. In one of the meetings in Pune, I heard, because that time we had Niti Aayog directors. Niti Aayog is the present day planning commission. In that meeting, they explained the projects what were envisaged and implemented by Shekharji in the field of defense and in the field of medical sciences. We all have transferred or converted the exports of defense into being made in India, make in India projects. For that, Shekharji's contributions were immense. And also during the COVID period, the self-reliance, he mentioned about few items, but the man behind all those ideas were Shekharji. We are so lucky to hear him today, and he is here in Trivandrum for the last few days. Thank you very much, sir. I have no more words to say. We heard from Professor Chandrabhas Narayan about what biotechnology can do in the coming decades or coming years. I never thought it's a 3 trillion business it's going to be. I never knew. Such is the impact of biotechnology. Biotechnology is a nascent science as far as I am concerned, because when we all were studying, the 5 branches were only the basic branches: mechanical, civil, electrical, electronics, and metallurgy. And when biotechnology came in, it came in with a boom. And that has made such a big impact. And such an institute, such people are spearheading those changes. So today, we were lucky to hear you, and we understood what is in store for us in future. Thank you very much. An engineer, when he turns into a bureaucrat, he is called technocrat. As the 13th question I have, what a doctor can be called when he turns into a director? I actually, the way you put it, through the innocent questions what you had, we all know that it was not, that you didn't know the answers, but we were not knowing. And we were taught in a totally different style which way an idea can be conveyed. He took us through the various steps of a medical device invention or innovation. I don't know which word to use. Now I am in a dilemma actually. But sir, the epiphany what you have put in us, as SSM we also have that. We have a dream. We have a dream to fulfill. It's an NGO, I agree, but we also want to take the ideas what are available to various schools. Yesterday we had a program in ISER, Almost 175 students participated in it. The last week, our people were in Koilon, in Kollam. Almost 6 schools were contacted and programs were conducted there. ISRO engineers who had retired or who are working there were present, because the children are wanting more and more answers, more than all of us. And we as SSM alone cannot give them all the answers. And that epiphany, we want to fulfill that, and we need all your support again. Thank you very much for doing this. We all had thought of a self-reliant India. India is rising. India, the tiger. We have heard so many phrases. But the reality within all those progresses, or to reach there, what we should all achieve. Today we have realized that it's not that easy to say that, okay, we will be there, up there, in the next 20 years, 25 years, in the next 50 years. For that, a lot of hard work is to be done. And that hard work can be done only through our school children. Of course, we will work on that part, but the person who made us realize that today is Dr. Anantha Krishnan. Sir, thank you very much for your work. Abba Vivek Ji, he is one of the torchbearers of SSM. What SSM is, it has to be daily explained to us, because every day it is changing. He has taken up a different journey, different responsibilities. But I really hope that will not create a gap for us in Kerala, because we really need you here also for all our programs. And not only for programs, for guiding us with narratives in a changing world, in a changing state. You know, where the press is one of the pillars of democracy. Like that, science and technology is a pillar for improvement of the world. Like the growth in the world, the growth in technology, the welfare of the people. And they cannot be stopped. And for that, such science organizations must work to create more and more people to serve our nation. And for that, we will try to sow the seeds. I would also like to thank all of you for taking this evening and being part of this mission. It's not only here attending this meeting, and I'm sure all you people will carry the light forward, take this torch to various other districts, other schools, other children. Thank you all for being part of this.